Go.
Welcome to Grade 5 Dash. This is for Boxford and Topsfield. This is week 1, activity 4, and for Middleton, this is week 2, activity 4. This activity is called Aids and Appliances, where we have several aids and appliances here out on the table for the children to both look at, touch, feel. They have a couple of things that they will be able to do themselves. We have a variety of equipment and hygiene aids to assist people who have limited fine motor coordination and hand grasp. These items are utilized by people with physical limitations. Each piece of adaptive equipment is designed to make a specific task easier for a person with fine motor difficulties. As you can see, some of them are very simple homemade adaptations that cost very little, but they're invaluable to the user. More sophisticated devices may be purchased. These devices help a person with a physical disability lead a more independent life. So we've broken down the equipment here in groups. The first group we have is sort of eating and mealtime. So as you can see, we have and all of these things should be in your bin when you go through the bin. There are 2 ways that parent volunteers choose to do this, and it's really up to you. You can decide per group. Some groups are rowdier than others, or you can just do it one way and stick to that way. You can put all of this equipment out on the table and have it set up for all 4 of your stations and have the kids just go through and look at it all. They can pick things up. Or you can sort of do a more guided tour where you talk about the items in the eating group, and then you talk about the items sort of a miscellaneous group here of writing and card holding, which we'll go through in a second. And then we have a grouping of personal hygiene. So there's sort of an eating group, an other group, and a personal hygiene group. If it's easier for you to go through each group separately and sort of have the kids listen to you and go through each one separately, that's fine too, whichever works for you. But the first group we're going to go through is eating. So we have a plate. First we have a Dyson, which is a non-stick mat. So people use that underneath their plates and utensils so that their things don't slip off of the table. We have a plate and a plate guard. So the plate guard clips onto the edge of the plate so the food doesn't, oh yeah, we also have these peanuts for fake food, so that when you're scooping the food with either a spoon or a fork, it sort of keeps the food from falling off the plate. There's a suction bowl. So again, that sticks to the table so that it doesn't slip off when you're scooping with a fork or a knife, and you do have fine motor deficits. It's oftentimes difficult to keep it from slipping off the table, so the suction cup helps. And then we have a nosy cup, which is higher on the outside, so when you take a sip, it's less likely to spill. And then the utensils, we have the adaptive tools on the utensils. We have just larger grips for the spoons, and there's also an adaptive tool you can put any utensil in that velcros to the hand for people with fine motor deficits. So the kids can go ahead and try all this out. The other thing you could do is have half of the group, go to the eating section and the other half go down to the personal hygiene section. So in the middle here we have this is in your curriculum, this is under other. We have a paintbrush holder, which again, it's like the adaptive tool with the pencil. It's a fine motor adaptation. And we have this really cool writing tool that their entire hand, and it sort of slides along the page. And I believe in your bin there's also some scrap paper for kids to use that. There are card holders, 2 different kinds. And then we move on to, we have here some grips or grabbers for people that have limited mobility for reaching. And this next one is similar. It has a hook, 2 different kinds of hooks on either end to pick things up. And then the hygiene section. We've got this is called the long-handed sponge. Yep, for limited mobility, a foot scrubber, which is also for limited mobility in the shower. If people are having difficulty moving or bending down, that is suction to the bottom of the shower. A long-handed comb, I do not see. Oh, there it is, long-handed comb. And then we have a Velcro hairbrush. So this is similar to the same thing we had the utensils in, where the person Velcros their whole hand into it. Adaptive toothbrushes with larger grips. And over here we have a few items that assist with putting on shoes and socks. So Jackie's just going to demonstrate if the kids want to use the sock aid, they're welcome to try it. We have a box of pads here that we please recommend the children use if they're not wearing socks. If they have on their own socks, they can just leave their sock on and put the sock over their own sock. But if they're not wearing socks, please have them put on the pads. So this again is for people with limited mobility. Voila. And then the shoe aid is a similar. So the kids can try those if they want. So that is, you know, as the kids are going through all of these, you can have discussions with them about how much easier it makes people's lives to have all these adaptive tools, and how, think about your day, when you begin your day, when you end your day, you're doing all of these things all day, whether it's taking a shower, eating a meal, so these tools are extremely, extremely useful. And that concludes week 1, activity 4, or for Middleton, week 2, activity 4.